All right, so now that we have some more information about heart rate, resting heart rate, recovery time for heart rate, all of this different stuff, let's start talking about the actual experiment we're gonna do. So we already have our question, like basically how well does our heart recover after exercise? So I'm asking you to create a hypothesis over here. It told us in background information that a fit person, their heart rate will recover 25 to 30 beats per minute after 1 minute of exercise. So basically, this is your chance to determine if you think you are a fit person or an unfit person. Doesn't matter either way, no judgment here. But it's just we're using this information for the lab that we're doing. So your hypothesis says if I exercise and increase my heart rate, then it will take blank minutes for my heart rate to recover 25 to 30 beats. So basically, if you think you are a fit person, there you go. If you think you are a fit person, you're putting in the number 1 because it should take 1 minute for your heart to recover 25 to 30 beats after exercise. If you think you are an unfit person, you might be putting 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. That's up to you. Any number within reason is a correct answer, okay? So 0 doesn't count, negative numbers don't count. You really shouldn't be going over like 5 minutes. Your answer probably should be either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. That was a short one, so I'm going to keep going here for the materials. Ooh, here we go. So as for the materials we're using, we're basically going to be needing a stopwatch or timer, so you can use your smartphone for this, and you're also going to need a calculator, which again, you can use your cell phone, smartphone for this. I also included a 1-minute timer here if you need to use it. So what you would do in order to use this timer is put this slide deck into present mode. This might take a second. There we go. Present. And we loaded. Okay, so in present mode right here, that's when you can click on this timer, and it will be a 1-minute timer. You, of course, can also search YouTube for like a 1-minute timer if you need to do that as well. Oh, hold on. I believe in your computer. You can do it. There we go. Okay, so again, let's talk about the actual procedure. I'm going to actually be doing this lab with you in a separate video, but I just sort of want to go through what it is we're going to be doing before we do it. So this is a little bit of a more complicated procedure. I'm also asking you to sort of step away from the computer and do something physical with yourself, so it's not directly on the computer. There's no actual way for me to check if you do this or not. I'm just hoping that you play along and you have some fun with this lab. Maybe you want to measure for yourself. Like I said, there's no competition, there's no judgment in this. We're just collecting some data to help us learn about the circulatory system. So basically what we're going to be doing is first we have to figure out what our resting heart rate is. So step number 1, sitting in a comfortable chair in a quiet and relaxed environment, take 10 slow, deep breaths. This helps to calm you. It helps to bring your heart rate down. And then after you take your 10 deep breaths, you feel relaxed. You're going to take your pulse for 15 seconds. So keep in mind there's 60 seconds in a minute, which means if we take our pulse for 15 seconds, we can multiply that number by 4, and that will give us our heart rate for the minute. So again, you can take your pulse by finding it along your neck right here. What I like to do is, you can see, I take my 2 fingers right here, I kind of go behind my ear and run it down my jawline until it's right under my jaw right here. And from there, you can start to feel your pulse. I find that way easier than finding it on your wrist over here, but it's going to be towards the outside of your wrist. Again, use your 2 fingers right here to find it. And you're looking for that heartbeat like in your wrist or in your neck over here. Do not use your thumb when you are doing this. You have a pulse in your thumb as well. So that's why we're using our 2 fingers to find your pulse. So maybe you want to pause the video here and just practice finding your pulse a couple times to make sure that you can actually do it. I think, I'm not completely sure, but if you do have an Apple Watch, I'm pretty sure that your Apple Watch can find your pulse for you as well. So you can do it that way if you have that technology. All right, so basically what we just did in terms of finding our pulse for 15 seconds in that relaxed state, that is our resting heart rate, okay? So that means that you need to record your resting heart rate in the results chart. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so this is the results chart right here. Where's my mouse? So we have a sitting down position. You're gonna do this 3 times, find an average. You're gonna have a laying down position, do it 3 times, find an average, and you're also gonna do it standing up. Again, find your pulse 3 times, take an average. So that's what you're doing, filling in this chart. You're just typing in whatever numbers it is that you measure. And then I do have some help for you up here in terms of how to calculate the average or eventually calculate the difference. All right, so like I said, you're finding your resting heart rate. You're doing it 3 times and then finding an average. So add them up, divide by 3. And that way we have a more accurate resting heart rate. Maybe you're like worked up a little bit the first time and maybe you're super relaxed the third time. Who knows? Anyway, so that's steps 1, 2, and 3. And then step 4, you're going to do the same thing, except instead of sitting in a chair, you're going to lay down on your couch, on your bed, wherever is a comfortable place for you to lay down. Again, take 10 slow, deep breaths, and then take your pulse for 15 seconds, multiply by 4 for your heart rate. You're going to do that 2 more times, total of 3, find the average, record it in the results chart. So now I'm on step 6. Again, same idea. You're going to stand for a minute, and then after you're standing for a minute, you have to give your body time to adjust. So after a minute, take your pulse for 15 seconds, multiply by 4, do this 3 times, find the average. You get the point by now. So now we have a resting heart rate when you are sitting, when you are laying down, and when you are standing. So you're going to see slight differences in all of those depending on the energy it takes for you to sit, stand, or lay down. But now we have an idea of what our resting heart rate is. So a true resting heart rate is actually when you are sitting in a chair. But I do think it's interesting to also look at what it might be laying down versus standing up. Okay, so now we get into what I think is the fun part of this lab. Some of you may think this is not so fun, but again, I'm asking you to go along with it, try it out. Again, there's no judgment here. We are just collecting some information to help us better understand the circulatory system. All right, so same idea here. I'm not going to ask you to do everything 3 times because I think that's a bit much for some people. If you would like to, I would love to give you extra credit for that. But if you only want to do it once, I completely understand. Just do it once. But if you would like to do it 3 times and find an average that would be more accurate, I will give you extra credit. Anyway, so basically I'm at number 7 right now. You're going to do potentially, is it 2 or 3 activities? Yeah, it's 2 activities, potentially 3 activities. So activity number 1, you're going to be doing jumping jacks for a minute. And again, I will be demonstrating this and walking you through this in the next video as well. So do jumping jacks for a minute. You're going to take your heart rate after for 15 seconds, multiply by 4, record it in your data chart. The second activity I'm asking you to do is a plank. And you're going to do this for a minute. You're going to take your heart rate for 15 seconds, multiply by 4, record it in the data chart. So one activity is a high intense cardio type of activity. Those are the jumping jacks. I'm hypothesizing that your heart rate is going to be higher doing jumping jacks than it will for the plank. The plank is what we call an isometric movement. You're not moving, but you're just holding a position. And so it is a hard position to hold. Your heart rate will go up, but it is going to be interesting to look at the difference between the two, whether you're jumping or you're holding a hard to hold position for a minute. As extra credit, and I will be doing the extra credit in the next video as well. Come up with an activity of your choice, and again, do it for a minute, measure your heart rate, record it in the data chart. So in the next video, I will actually be going through the lab with you if you want to walk through it with me. If you feel comfortable doing it on your own, that is okay too. And then we will check back in everybody for the results and conclusion sections.